Yeah, I got it. Hey, greetings. This is the contracting guy on location in Amarillo, Texas. Actually, at the Cadillac Ranch west of Amarillo, Texas. I have an email from a veteran who says, "Hey, contracting guy, my name is Jed, and I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and I have a question. What do they mean by best value?" Well, Jed from Huntsville, Alabama, I'll answer that in just a moment. Well, Jed from Huntsville, Alabama, let's talk about best value, and let me explain it to you. It's not as difficult as it seems. I'd like you to consider this. Now, this is an analogy, but it is, I think, appropriate analogy so that you can understand what best value means. Now, you know, if you are short of money, best value might be the cheapest. But if you are flush with money, best value might be a little bit more extravagance. Let's take this and apply it to a situation. Payday is 2 days from now. You have no money, or you have very little money, so you're looking at lowest price, technically acceptable. You want something that does the job, but you want it cheap. But it needs to do the job. So it has to meet a minimum standard of, acceptability. So your best value at that point in time is something that is lowest price, technically acceptable. Now, if you take it to 2 days or 3 days later, you just get paid and you're going out to dinner. And suddenly, what you would have accepted on the day before payday is something you wouldn't accept 3 days after payday now that you have money. Suddenly, your taste becomes more elegant. You look for trade-offs. So instead of money or lowest price, your technical acceptability suddenly goes to, well, I'm willing to trade off things. So I'm willing to pay more money, the trade-off, for other technical qualities. So if you take a look at the picture, you'll see a plain hamburger, and then you'll see a loaded out hamburger. The plain hamburger is the one that you would have had at the beginning of, or at the end of your pay period. The other hamburger is the one that you could afford after you've got money and you want this. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the trade-off is over. You may want to trade off other things, such as I would like to have beef rather than this fake beef. I would like to have onions and tomatoes and other things on it. I'd like to have blue cheese. I'd like to have other things, and then I'll trade off for something else. So I'm willing to pay more money for qualities I want. Now, here's an interesting one, and I referred to it just a few seconds ago, which is a salient characteristic. Now, a salient characteristic in this case might be the burger must have beef. Now, it can have other things, but it must be made out of beef. It's not a vegetable burger. So with that, you might have certain things that are characteristic of that which you want. It has to have that. Now, oftentimes, salient characteristics are tied to a brand name. But in this case here, we're just talking about a specific characteristic that calls the burger a hamburger versus a vegetable burger. Okay, so let me summarize this. Lowest price technically acceptable is one end of the spectrum. Trade-off is the other end of the spectrum. This all becomes part of the best value continuum. So best value at some point might be just that, cheap, but acceptable. Whereas the other end of the continuum might be more expensive, but you're getting more qualities and more value to that. So value is really in the eyes of the buyer. What do they need and how do they want it? So, lowest price technically acceptable, trade-off are all part of the umbrella of best value. So when you see best value, you should be able to look at it and say they're either going to emphasize price or they're going to emphasize other qualities other than price. So thank you very much. Jed, from Huntsville, Alabama, that was a very good question. I appreciate you asking that. This is the Contracting Guy. I'm out. Hello, this is the Contracting Guy again. It would really be great if you would like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. See you next time.